What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I'm going to be talking about Tesla, SPY, the QQQ, Nvda, and Apple. I'm going to break down what happened during Tesla's earnings report as we saw some very, very big news come out. And also what's going on with tomorrow as we have Jerome Powell giving a speech. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I talk about when Powell is giving his speech and how Tesla's earnings went and how this may affect the markets, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the accounts, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. Now, this offer ends in just about 13 days from now, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. So, looking at Tesla right now, we have Tesla right here. It's down about 4.5% in the after hours, just barely holding 230. And it's looking more bearish from a technical standpoint after what was just announced. So I'm going to just talk about Tesla first before I break down Jerome Powell's speech and all this other stuff. And as a reminder, Powell's giving his speech around noon tomorrow in Eastern time. So how did Tesla's earnings go and how could this affect the market? Let's just get into it. I'm going to try to be very quick with this as well. I know there's so much to talk about it, but I'm just going to try to be fast. So Tesla had about 60 cents per share for EPS, which is a miss according to Earnings Whisper's targets and also based off Wall Street's targets. They missed on EPS no matter where you look, and they also missed on revenue. They missed Wall Street's expectations and also from Earnings Whisper's expectations. They did 23.35 billion in revenue. We were expecting 24 billion, so we missed on EPS and revenue, which is not the best of things for Tesla. Now, Tesla missing that also led us to some other parts of this. Looking at their financial statements, operating margins have declined just a little bit. Profitability is not looking as strong as before. Tesla is trying to increase their, delivery volumes and things like that. They're continuing to invest in AI and other growth projects, but for the time being, their costs are they're able to decrease their costs, which is good news for them, but their margins are just still getting kind of slimmer because they have to keep on cutting prices. And there are many reasons as to why that's going on. I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. I just wanted to mention that their energy storage is doing relatively well. The operating cash flow is okay, and we're continuing to see new changes here. You can just take screenshots of these, just look at them. We're seeing their revenue declining. Revenue was declined compared to Q2 and also compared to Q1, but their overall free cash flow is declining too. But what's good is their costs are starting to decrease just a little bit because they're finding ways to produce these cars more efficiently. So, with that being said, guys, they missed on EPS and revenue. Their margins were not the best. Operating expenses have still gone up. And that's because of the fact that they're going to be putting in a lot of money into producing the Cybertruck, and it's not going to be in assets to start us off. Now, let me just talk about the things Elon Musk said before I transition to the overall market. So, what is Elon Musk talking about? What was going on with him? And he had a lot to say. So, just to be frank, he didn't really seem prepared for any of the questions or anything like that. It doesn't seem like he studied very hard for to give like really, really good answers. Instead, he was just being very, very blunt and very honest. And he said some things that were, I just felt like he could have given much better answers. Let me just give you some examples. So basically, when he started talking about the Cybertruck, he wasn't trying to BS anything. He just said that there are going to be a lot of challenges with it. It's going to take them around 18 months or so just to reach volume production. And then for profitability, it could take 18 to 30 months. So it could take them over a year, maybe many years before the Cybertruck becomes profitable until we see positive cash flow with it. But they still have a lot of work to be doing. So he said, don't be like way too hyped as an investor about the Cybertruck because it's going to be a big expense for Tesla. It's going to hurt their operating expenses, make them go up a little bit. So that was one like really big difference compared to before. But he did mention that the Cybertruck is an amazing car and he's still bullish in the long term thanks to it. He mentioned that AI can make Tesla one of the most valuable companies on the planet, which is bullish news for the long term. And the cost per vehicle decreased to 37,500, which is some good news for them. Then he was asked questions like, how many Cybertruck deliveries could we be expecting for 2024? He straight up just said he doesn't really know, but he said that for 2025, they could be reaching a rate of 250,000 in production per year, but he's not 100% sure about that. There are other things he could have said, such as the fact that they have a big event coming out. There's a lot of work that has to be done, and they're going to be producing as many as possible. And I mean, instead of just straight up saying like he doesn't know, or that the Cybertruck is going to be this big liability and this and that. But anyways, people could have different views. Then Elon Musk started talking about the Mexico Gigafactory. Instead of being optimistic about it, saying that it's going to come out, it's going to be great, he actually said something that was brutally honest. He said the truth, so I do respect him for doing that. He said that the Giga Mexico, it's basically going to be very difficult for them to get that started with in the very beginning. He said that the current interest rate environment is going to make things harder for consumers, and Tesla may just delay it. So they could just be focusing on infrastructure. They're not as focused on beginning construction as soon as before. And he mentioned that the current interest rate environment is just going to make things harder for them. Then he said that for most people, as interest rates rise, so do the proportions for the vehicles. And it's going to make it harder for people to buy cars. So Tesla is going to be open to cutting prices again. He mentioned that the current interest rate environment is going to likely lead to a recession, or he said that it's very possible. And he said that it reminds him of 2009. He just went on a rant about 2009, how Tesla almost went bankrupt, and how Tesla has a lot of hardships still ahead of it this year. He also mentioned that when it comes to FSD, there's a lot of production and progress that's being made, but he doesn't have a clear cut date as to when on earth these robots are going to be actually building things in the factories. He said it could take years for them to just be able to do ballet, which is a funny joke, but it is the truth, right? So Musk was just telling us that, hey, producing new cars is becoming more difficult when getting new models. He has no updates on whether or not they have any new models yet. He also mentioned that Tesla is going to be entering a hard environment because of the interest rates, and he just went on about that. Then he started talking about how the Federal Reserve, the expenses that they're adding are just creating more liabilities for Tesla, and that the company could be in a tough position for the shorter term, but for the long term, he's still very optimistic thanks to AI, the robo-taxing, etc. He said he's very excited about the robo-taxi. Anyways, that's pretty much like the sum of it. So as you can see, Tesla was just continuing to fall because Musk said that the Cybertruck is going to be a big expense initially. And he said a bunch of other things that were quite negative. So Tesla's barely holding 230. Now we're trying to rebound a little bit. So we're watching this resistance around 232. If we lose 230, you're going to be watching 227 to 228. If we lose 227 to 228, watch 225, watch 220. And that's where we have some key support. Now, Tesla's looking a bit more bearish. It's been sinking quite a bit. We will see if this thing can try to hold 230 tomorrow or not. If it does try to bounce, watch 232, 235, 237.5, and then 240 as resistance levels. We're currently at 232, but the trend is looking more bearish, and there could be more downside coming, especially if we break below 230. So with Tesla looking weaker, I just want to remind you all we have Jerome Powell giving a speech tomorrow around noon for Eastern time. We also have more Fed speakers after, but they don't really matter as much as Jerome Powell. So with Powell giving a speech, there's no telling what he's about to do. He could cause another rug pull that could slow Tesla down. He could pump the markets, but I do believe the odds favor him being hawkish because of the current data that's coming out, looking at retail sales and etc. So there's a risk of more downside thanks to Powell. I want everyone to be prepared. Now I'm just going to be very brief and very blunt. If SPY sinks more thanks to Tesla or Jerome Powell, we need to hold 429. If we lose it, watch 427.5. Then 425 is coming below that if we lose that. For resistance, watch 432, then 433. We are looking a bit more bearish from a technical standpoint, so just be very careful. For Aapl, you're going to be watching 175 as support, which is very close to 174.8, the low from this wick from Thursday. Not Thursday, sorry, for Tuesday. If we end up losing it, well, there's a head and shoulders like pattern on Aapl, and this looks a bit more bearish. We could be watching Aapl come down towards 172.5 as it's looking weaker. Watch 176.5 as key resistance. If we break it, then 177.5 is possible, but we are looking more bearish from a technical standpoint. For the QQQ, you're going to be watching support around 362. If we lose it, thanks to Tesla, and the odds do favor this possibly coming down in the future, maybe thanks to Powell or Tesla. 360, 359 are going to be two major supports. If we lose 359, 357.5 is going to be worth watching. For resistance, watch 365, which is very close to where we have the 200 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. So it's going to be very important to watch that. And then last but not least, for Nvda, we're still downtrending, so watch 420 as support. But if we keep sinking, we have 418, 416, and then below that, 410 is a real possibility for key supports. And watch resistance at 425 and then 427.5, followed by 430. Nvidia is looking a bit more bearish, so watch these trends very carefully and just know that there is a possible head and shoulders like pattern on it right here that could lead to more downside. So with the market slowing down a bit, I want everyone to be very careful. We have to be very careful going into tomorrow and etc. because not only could Tesla add to selling pressure for the markets, but you never know what Jerome Powell is going to cause at noon. All right. So, with that said, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. I wanted to make this video kind of quick. Tesla did not have bullish earnings. Netflix had good earnings, or at least decent earnings. But like I said before, I mean, Tesla is going to be more impactful than Netflix. So, it is what it is. I mean, if you look at Netflix's price right now, Netflix is currently up about 12.8%. But like I said before, Tesla's going to have a bigger effect on the markets. The market's actually red right now with Tesla, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow, so please take care. I'll talk in the morning about how the market's looking. And until then, have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day/night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you and peace out.